Hi and welcome back to another Footy Index Scout video. We often like to point out players who are worth keeping an eye on with potential growth and profit to be made. This rings especially true given recent trends with an increasing number of traders looking for value lower down the index for that quick flip. This also means it's important to look at players who are the exact opposite. Those players who in our eyes are not worth considering putting any money into despite their relatively low price, and more importantly discussing the reasons why. Let's take a look at 3 players who we think fit the bill. First up is former Southampton forward Graziano Pelle. Since leaving the Premier League and becoming one of the world's highest paid players in China, his value has plummeted to 35 pence. Despite his transfer being quite high profile at the time, the fact is playing in China has essentially killed any reason to now own him. Whilst the Chinese Super League is certainly gaining some media attention due to their prolific spending sprees on transfer fees and wages, ask yourself, when was the last time you heard anyone mention the name Graziano Pelle? We realise that Pelle is perhaps an obvious pick here, but feel it's a worthwhile point to make that players who leave the Premier League, and the chance of them ever coming back are remote, makes these players basically worthless. If you own any players linked away to less reputable leagues, be sure to keep a very close eye on them and be prepared to cash out. Next on the list is Barcelona keeper Marc-Andre ter Stegen. Priced at 40p, he currently sits at exactly the same price as Arsenal keeper Petr Cech. You only need to compare the buzz points accumulated by both players respectively to see the contrast in owning either of these goalkeepers. Ter Stegen has earned an almost comical 100 buzz points during his entire period on the index. Meanwhile, Cech tops the goalkeepers list with over 48,000 and has 4 buzz wins to his name. The temptation for some people may be to see a cheap player at one of the world's biggest and best clubs and thinks he's worth taking a punt on. In some cases this is true, especially during Champions League weeks against British-based opposition. However, in the case of Ter Stegen, it seems pretty safe to say your money is better spent elsewhere. Finally, let's take a look at a player who is slightly higher priced in former Manchester United winger Memphis Depay. Once seen as a golden boy who would be a star at United, Depay struggled to make any impact at Old Trafford. A January link to Everton pushed his price up to reach a high point of 96 pence, but instead the Dutchman chose to hop over the pond and sign for Lyon in France. Whilst we cannot rule out seeing Depay back in the Premier League somewhere down the road, the fact is he is now seen as a pretty major flop. This means there is little interest left in the British media towards him. With Lyon not even in the Champions League, it further decreases any potential awareness towards him. So there we go, 3 players who we think you should not spend any of your money on. We can see that a common reason for this is down to the players leaving the Premier League, or in the case of Ter Stegen, already playing abroad. Whilst we hope that this will change over time as the index expands into new territories, for now players leaving the UK is the cue to take them off your watch list. As always, thanks for watching and we hope you found this video useful. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Footy Index Scout, where you're welcome to ask us any questions. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, and of course give us a thumbs up if you like the video. And we'll see you next time.